Government's mind.
I know you're jealous.
Mr Chair.
Chris Farfoy.
Mr Chair, can I also join my colleague Claire Cohen in thanking the Minister and the Chair for taking some time to answer some of the questions that we've asked through this committee stage. I think he's done a very honourable job of that and gone a long way to answering some of the questions around particularly the management of spectrum, and he touched briefly on the appointment process around the Chief Executive. But if he was to be able to enlighten us more around the spectrum management and the fact that the management of the spectrum that was held by MTS is now being handed over to Te Pūtahi Pāho. He did mention to us that if there was going to be any change in the way that the spectrum was used, that it would have to go through himself and also the Minister of Finance, and I think I heard him say that the service, which I led to believe was MTS, would also have to approve. That doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be revenue gathered or that the spectrum that is within that packet of spectrum won't be used for another purpose. And in fact, it gives a process as to how it can be. So my question to the Minister and the Chair is what will be some of the parameters as to how that spectrum can be utilised? If it is leased out, where does the revenue from that lease agreement go to? Will it stay within the realms of Te Pūtahi Pāho? Will it be passed on back to the government as pure revenue? Will it be used elsewhere with te reo to promote the use of te reo? Because I think there might be an argument that because it was given to MTS originally, that any extra revenue that might come from the future utilisation of that spectrum might be reinvested back into the Maori television service. Now, obviously, this is very prudent and timely at the moment because of the budget freeze that the Maori television service is under, and with advancing technology moving forward and becoming more costly, those costs will increase over time to MTS to be able to meet demands and needs of changing technology. And I guess if we can get from the Minister and the Chair some more specifics about how the revenue that might come about from the utilisation of that spectrum, how it will be used, how it might be used, will it be poured back into MTS, or will it go to some other avenue that could perhaps promote te reo or the Māori culture, or will, as I mentioned earlier, could it go straight back to the Crown as money to go back into the consolidated fund? So that is just one particular aspect in terms of the questions that the Minister answered, that if he could give us some more clarification, that will be useful. And just to conclude, also the process around the investigation into the appointment process into the Chief Executive. And I wonder if, and I'm not sure what the terms of reference might be, if it might be able to look further than just those involved in the process and those who might have wanted to include themselves in the process. And I mention that because I understand that someone from TVNZ may have approached either a board member or someone at MTS or someone at MTS during the appointment process with what I understand to be concerns about one particular candidate. And I think that needs to be addressed, because if we have someone at the state broadcaster with concerns about someone who's applying for a job, the chief executive role at the Maori television service, and those concerns aren't being able to be passed through, I think that's a major concern when we look at the interests of public broadcasting in a wider sense. Because if there's concern about the suitability for someone in a position at the major broadcaster, then you've got to wonder why that isn't being passed on to those making the decision about the chief executive role at MTS now, a very, very important decision for what someone called a treasure to te reo and to the Māori culture established by the previous Labour government, and also to make sure that there is independence and a solid decision being made about an entity that takes or receives $36 million in taxpayer funding each year. So I'm going to stop there and ask, potentially, maybe get some answers from the Minister and the Chair.
I'll take a call on that. Honourable Peter Sharp.
Kia ora. The mediator idea is not really necessary.